The Apache girl's secret healing. The mysterious illness struck without warning on a scorching Tuesday morning in the unforgiving Arizona territory. Luna, the youngest and most beloved daughter of Chief Standing Bear, collapsed suddenly while gathering precious water from the sacred spring that had sustained her Apache tribe for countless generations. Her fever burned like desert fire, consuming dry brush, and strange crimson marks appeared across her delicate bronze skin like lightning bolts painted by an angry god. "She is cursed by evil spirits," whispered the elderly women of the tribe in hushed, frightened tones, crossing themselves with ancient protective gestures that had been passed down through countless centuries. "The spirits are deeply angry with her for some unknown transgression." Chief Standing Bear, a proud and noble man whose weathered face had witnessed 50 harsh winters in this unforgiving land, watched helplessly as his beloved daughter grew progressively weaker with each agonizing hour that passed. The tribal medicine man, Wise Crow, had desperately tried every sacred healing ritual known to their ancient people. Sacred herbs gathered under the full moon, purifying smoke ceremonies performed at dawn, fervent prayers offered to the four winds. Absolutely nothing seemed to touch the mysterious sickness that relentlessly consumed the beautiful 17-year-old girl. "We must cast her out immediately," declared Wise Crow solemnly after 3 exhausting days of completely failed treatments. "She carries evil spirits that will surely infect our entire tribe if she remains among us, even one more day. It is the only way to save the others from certain death." Standing Bear's proud heart shattered like delicate glass. But Apache law was absolutely sacred and completely unforgiving. When the medicine man spoke with the authority of the spirits, even a powerful chief must obey without question. With tears streaming down his weathered cheeks, he reluctantly ordered his strongest warriors to carry Luna far from their tribal lands and abandon her in the vast, merciless desert wilderness. "I'm so sorry, my precious daughter," he whispered brokenly as they left her beneath a solitary cottonwood tree with only a small leather pouch of water and some dried meat. "May the spirits show you the mercy that we cannot afford to give." Dr. Jackson Reid was methodically finishing his comprehensive morning rounds in the rough frontier town of Copper Springs when fate would forever change his life. He had arrived exactly 6 long months ago from the prestigious Boston Medical College, his ambitious head full of dreams about bringing modern medical knowledge and techniques to the wild, untamed West. What he discovered instead was a harsh reality filled with gunshot wounds, broken bones, mysterious diseases, and medical challenges that his expensive Eastern education had never remotely prepared him to face or treat effectively. Jackson was definitely no ordinary frontier doctor or typical medical practitioner. Before attending the rigorous medical school program, he had spent 5 grueling years as a hardworking cowboy, learning to ride wild horses, rope stubborn cattle, and shoot accurately with the very best frontiersmen. His father's catastrophic gambling debts and financial ruin had forced young Jackson to work the dangerous ranches before he could pursue his true calling and passion of healing sick and injured people. This unique and valuable background made him unlike any physician the frontier had ever seen. Equally comfortable delivering a difficult baby in a remote cabin or quickly drawing his trusted Colt .45 when serious trouble inevitably came calling to threaten his patients or community. That particularly fateful morning, Jackson was slowly returning home from treating a local rancher's severely broken leg when he spotted something highly unusual and completely out of place near the dangerous and treacherous Devil's Canyon area. His trained medical eye immediately caught a glimpse of bright, colorful fabric that absolutely didn't belong in the harsh, natural desert landscape surrounding him. Curious and genuinely concerned about what he might find. He carefully urged his faithful horse toward the mysterious anomaly. What he discovered beneath the ancient, gnarled cottonwood tree nearly stopped his experienced and hardened heart completely. A young, beautiful Apache girl lay completely unconscious, her stunning face flushed with dangerous fever and delirium. Her traditional dress was thoroughly soaked with perspiration from her illness, and the strange, distinctive red markings on her exposed arms immediately caught his sharp medical attention and triggered alarm bells in his trained mind. Sweet Jesus Christ. He breathed heavily, quickly dismounting and kneeling beside her motionless form. His expert fingers immediately found her pulse, rapid and thready, clearly indicating severe dehydration and serious systemic infection spreading throughout her body. But there was something very specific and familiar about the distinctive pattern of the red marks that triggered a clear, precise memory from his rigorous medical studies back at Boston Medical College. Without any hesitation whatsoever, Jackson carefully lifted the unconscious girl in his strong arms and placed her as gently as possible across his saddle. He knew instinctively that bringing an Apache into the predominantly white town would cause a tremendous uproar and potentially dangerous situation. But his sacred Hippocratic oath was absolutely non-negotiable and unbreakable. He would bravely face whatever serious consequences and hostile reactions came later, regardless of personal cost. The difficult and tense ride back to his well-equipped clinic took exactly 30 anxious minutes, during which Luna drifted in and out of consciousness, muttering feverish words and phrases in her beautiful, melodic native Apache language. Jackson found himself strangely and unexpectedly moved by her natural beauty and heartbreaking vulnerability. Even in her serious illness and weakened state, she possessed a wild, untamed grace that perfectly reminded him of the magnificent, untamed landscape he had grown to deeply love and respect during his time in Arizona Territory. Upon finally reaching Copper Springs with his unconscious patient, Jackson's dramatic arrival with the Apache girl created exactly the explosive chaos and angry reaction he had grimly expected. Hostile townspeople quickly gathered in angry, threatening clusters, shouting furious demands that he immediately turn the savage away and remove her from their civilized community. "You absolutely can't bring that heathen into our decent town," yelled Mayor Thompson, his face turning red with righteous indignation. "She probably carries some deadly Indian plague that'll kill us all." "That girl is my patient," Jackson replied firmly, his cowboy backbone clearly showing through his physician's professional manner. "And I took a sacred oath to help anyone who needs healing, regardless of their race or origin." Sheriff Martinez, a fair-minded man who genuinely respected Jackson's unique dual reputation as both skilled healer and dangerous gunfighter, helped clear a path through the hostile crowd to the clinic. "Let the doc work," he commanded with authority. "We'll sort out the rest later." In the privacy of his well-equipped clinic, Jackson began a thorough medical examination. What he discovered made his pulse quicken with both alarm and excitement. The red markings weren't random disease symptoms. They followed the exact clinical pattern of scarlet fever, a serious disease he had studied extensively but never actually treated. More importantly, he recognized that Luna was in the early stages of the illness, when proper medical treatment could still save her precious life. For the next 3 critical days, Jackson worked around the clock without rest. He administered cool baths to reduce her dangerous fever, forced small amounts of water and willow bark tea between her parched lips, and applied cool compresses to the angry red rash covering her skin. Most crucially, He had brought a small supply of a revolutionary new drug from Boston, an early antibiotic that showed tremendous promise against bacterial infections. On the fourth morning, Luna's fever finally broke completely. Her dark eyes fluttered open to find a strange white man sitting patiently beside her bed. His face exhausted, but his kind green eyes filled with gentle concern and relief. "Who are you?" she asked weakly in carefully accented English, learned from patient missionaries who had once visited her remote tribe. "I'm Dr. Jackson Reid," he replied softly with obvious relief. "You've been extremely sick, but you're going to be completely fine now." Luna tried desperately to sit up. Sudden panic filling her expressive dark eyes. "My people, my father, they will think I'm dead." "Tell me everything about your tribe," Jackson said gently. "I want to understand exactly what happened to you." Through halting English, mixed with expressive gestures, Luna carefully explained how the mysterious illness had struck and how her people, believing her cursed, had abandoned her to die in the unforgiving desert. Jackson's heart ached deeply as he realized the tragic irony. Her tribe's desperate attempt to protect themselves had nearly cost an innocent girl her precious life. As Luna slowly regained her strength over the following week, an extraordinary bond developed between the unlikely pair. Jackson was absolutely fascinated by her extensive knowledge of desert plants and natural remedies, many of which had genuine medicinal properties his formal education had completely overlooked. Luna, in turn, was amazed by his ability to heal without spirit dances or mystical rituals, using instead what she called white man's magic medicine. "Your people cast you out because they feared what they didn't understand," Jackson told her one peaceful evening as they shared a simple meal. "But their fear nearly killed you. What you had was scarlet fever, a disease that can be cured with proper treatment." "You saved my life," Luna replied, her dark eyes reflecting a growing affection that went beyond mere gratitude. "But now I have nowhere to go. I cannot return to my tribe. They believe I carry death." Jackson felt his own feelings deepening as he spent time with this remarkable young woman. Luna possessed a wisdom about the natural world that complemented his medical knowledge perfectly. Together, they had begun developing new treatments that combined Apache herbal knowledge with modern medical techniques. The turning point came when a devastating cholera outbreak threatened the town during the brutal summer heat. Jackson's modern medicines proved largely ineffective against the devastating disease, but Luna's knowledge of desert plants provided a breakthrough. A tea made from creosote bush and desert sage, prepared according to ancient Apache recipes, proved remarkably effective at managing the symptoms and reducing mortality. "She saved half the town," admitted Mayor Thompson grudgingly after his own grandson recovered from cholera thanks to Luna's medicine. "I reckon we owe her more than an apology." As autumn painted the desert in shades of gold and crimson, Jackson made a decision that would scandalize some but inspire others. On a crisp October morning, he rode out to the sacred spring where Luna had first fallen ill, carrying with him a proposition that would change both their lives forever. "You could stay here with me," Jackson said carefully and thoughtfully. "Help me understand the healing plants your people use. We could learn from each other and help so many people." But their growing closeness had definitely not gone unnoticed by the suspicious townspeople. Whispers and hostile glances followed them wherever they went. Whenever Luna ventured outside the clinic, the dangerous tension reached a critical breaking point when Mayor Thompson and several prominent citizens confronted Jackson directly in broad daylight. "This has gone on long enough," Reid, Thompson declared angrily. "You've done your good deed now. Send that squaw back where she belongs. Luna is staying right here." Jackson replied firmly, his hand instinctively moving to his gun belt, a deliberate gesture that reminded everyone present that he was much more than just a mild-mannered doctor. "She's helping me develop new medicines that could benefit everyone in this town." The tense standoff might have turned violently if not for an unexpected intervention. Mrs. Sarah Coleman, the minister's devout wife, stepped forward bravely from the crowd. "My husband has consumption," she said quietly, but clearly. "The lung sickness that Dr. Reid says has no cure. If this Apache girl knows plants that might help him, then I say we listen to what she has to offer." Luna stepped forward bravely, despite the hostile faces surrounding her. "I know plant," she said in broken English. "Desert willow bark, prepared special way. My grandmother cured many people with breathing sickness." Over the following weeks, Luna worked closely with Jackson to prepare traditional Apache remedies for several townspeople suffering from various ailments. When Reverend Coleman's persistent cough began improving dramatically after taking Luna's willow bark preparation, attitudes in Copper Springs slowly began to shift favorably. Dr. Reid found himself falling deeply in love with a remarkable young woman who had transformed not only his medical practice, but his understanding of healing itself. Luna, grateful beyond words for the man who had literally saved her life and given her a new purpose, discovered that love knew no boundaries of race or culture. "Marry me," he said simply as they stood together beside the bubbling water where her ordeal had begun. "Not because of gratitude or obligation, but because I love you. Because together we can heal people in ways neither of us could manage alone." Luna's tears fell like desert rain as she said yes, knowing that their union would create something entirely new. A bridge between two worlds of healing, ancient and modern, that could benefit everyone who sought their help. The wedding took place on Christmas Day, officiated by Reverend Coleman himself as a gesture of gratitude for his restored health. Most of the town attended, and while not everyone approved, no one could deny the good that Jackson and Luna had accomplished together. Years later, the Reid Clinic became famous throughout the entire Arizona territory for its innovative combination of modern medical techniques and traditional Apache healing wisdom. Patients traveled hundreds of dangerous miles to receive treatment from the remarkable Dr. Cowboy and his Apache wife, who had proven that sometimes the best medicine comes from the most unexpected places. Their love story became legend in Copper Springs, proof that healing, like love itself, recognizes no boundaries and flourishes when different traditions unite in common purpose. Dr. Jackson Reid and Luna Standing, they had found in each other not just romantic love, but a shared mission that would transform frontier medicine forever. The mysterious illness that had once made Luna an outcast had instead become the catalyst for a revolution in desert healing, showing that sometimes what appears to be a curse can actually be a blessing in disguise.